John Harris, it's great to see you. And I'm going to peacock a little bit. I'm pretty proud of, I've got some of the new swag at the H. I got
Yeah,
this
nice.
is underratedly just
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
new, like the neon kind of looking bullhead. I think
Hmm.
it's awesome. I love the new uniforms. I got to, as you did about a month ago, see them on players at night with all the, and it
Yep.
looked awesome then. And
Did.
I was like,
Yep.
I wonder how it's going to train. I wonder if, surely I'm not the only one, but I wonder if there's going to be some backlash. And the pot shots have been very few and far between, which I love. Hit them out of the park, I think. I think these new uniforms are awesome. They're all different. The battle reds look so cool. I got a white Stroud and a home blue Anderson for my sons. They're gonna
Nice.
size so they can switch through. Yeah, I'm pumped, man.
Yeah.
Well, you were at the party last night too. What'd you think of everything? What have you thought about the release?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a million times, like, kind of the pomp and circumstance that goes with uniforms and all that. Like I had it, yeah, okay, great, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was just, how do they look? Do I like the look? I like the look a lot. I love the H. There had been so much talk about the new H. And of course, my name being Harris, I'm gonna see how I can incorporate that for me.
Sure.
But but I loved the H when I first saw it. Like, that's awesome. I really like that. And I love that uniform. And when we spoke with the players, like you had them, I think on say like a Monday, we had them on a Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
So they were shooting all four uniforms. And I think they shot a couple of them one night and then a couple of them the
Right.
next night. And the night that we were doing it was the night after
You saw
you.
the
And they
H's.
were
Yeah.
they were wearing the Color Rush alternate with the H helmet, and so they had their helmets. So every time they'd come over, I mean, Jalen Petrie got on the air and we're like, Jalen, you can't say anything about the uniforms, and he just launches right into, man, these are straight fire. Fans are gonna love these. We love these. Every single player just absolutely loved those in particular. Not
Yeah.
that the others they didn't, but it was just those was like, wow. So yeah, there were a couple of leaks, and there's never going to be 100% approval on anything, but it's come full circle because last year at this time, nothing that we were doing or could do, no whether it was uniforms or otherwise,
Yeah.
gained any sort of thumbs up. I mean, even making a deal for Will Anderson at some point, that was not even thought of as, oh, this is such a bad deal. They gave a pick next year,
I know
and
you didn't
then
think that way. I know I didn't think that. I
I
know
didn't.
people in the
We did
building
not
were pumped, but yes, you caught a lot of
nationally.
yeah, you
Yeah.
caught a lot of flack. Oh, you gave up too much for that guy. Well,
Right. And I was tired of hearing that. I'm like, man, come on. And I was like, if you just looked ahead a little bit, and that this is going to be true. And I said this draft night, I said, you got to look ahead a little bit. First of all, it's not going to be a defensive player draft. There's no Will Anderson in next year's draft. Like, you don't need to do a ton of study to
yeah,
know that. You can just look ahead and go, man, there's no Will Anderson in this draft coming forward. Dallas Turner is not Will Anderson. You're not going to have a
game
Will
changer,
Anderson.
culture change.
Yes,
Yeah,
right. And you're not going to have that. So go get that guy this year so he impacts 2023. You're not waiting for 2024.
mm-hmm.
You're getting it in 2023. So it impacts that year. And then we'll see what happens in 2024. And lo and behold, what happens? There's not a this offensive player draft. Um, I don't even know how many players offensively I've got on my Harris 100, Harris 200 versus defense. It's just not a really top-notch defensive player draft. And it didn't take much to look forward, but because it was us making that deal at a time when, we're 31st in the, power rankings and we're just coming out of three really difficult years, we got no benefit of the doubt. Now, a year later, kind of get a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I thought about that at the party last night, looking around, going, man, there are a lot of people at this party. I wonder, had we been 3-13-1 or 4-13
No,
like we had been the previous couple of years,
you had
I
a
don't think we would have
backlash.
had
Not
a
a
party like that.
people would have like some people would have liked these uniforms, but you would have got a lot. You would have caught a lot of flack.
Ton.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have one more thing on the uniforms in just a second, but you just brought up something. The day after, so I think it was the Saturday of the draft. So 2 days after the Texans moved up to take Will Anderson,
Right.
someone very, very connected in this building said, hey, our coaches, they think with this trade and they think with what we've done in free agency. So coming into last year's draft, what they'd done in free agency and what they had in the quarterback and CJ Stroud, they thought the Texans draft pick was going to be lower and further down the
Right.
draft
Right.
than the
Correct.
Browns pick. And that's why they traded that away. And I remember hearing that. And I was like, okay, cool. And it wasn't said with like a false bravado, because sometimes you hear that and it's like, all right, that's kind of like thank you, but that's
Right.
BS. That's not. I didn't I didn't I didn't get that vibe. And then seeing the mock drafts for 2024 the day after the draft, they all had the
Yep.
Texans picking first, but it going to the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yep.
Almost all of those mock drafts had 1-2 for the Cardinals, and they got that really, really wrong. And I
Yep.
love it. I mean, they weren't
Yeah.
even anywhere in the ocean. You know, they were on the beach. Really, they were on the
Mhm.
marsh, about 15 miles inland from the beach, as far as getting
Yeah.
any close to
Waving for help to come get them, and
with
nobody was coming.
binoculars. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love what happened there. Okay, and then my last point about the uniforms. I think Clint Sterner brought this up. It's a great point. These color rushes
Mhm.
are gonna look super sweet with this color, the H-Town blue cleats, which I think they're gonna
Yeah, that's well, the guys were
gloves.
wearing their
Yes.
cleats and the
Equally
gloves.
equally cool with red cleats and red gloves.
Mhm.
Equally cool if they just stay with this dark color. I mean, they're gonna
Yep.
look so awesome that way. So
Yeah,
there's a lot
absolutely.
of
And
fun.
so I told Mark last night on radio. So when and you saw this, you walk into the 713 hall, whatever it was.
Mhm.
And so we were in the far right corner, kind of away from everything. But as people walked in, they would look over, oh, it's us. You know, they waved at us, take pictures, whatever. And so where you signed in, there was a big, gigantic, probably 8 to 10 foot tall H
Mhm.
lit up, just gorgeous. And I pointed it at one point and I was like, Mark, we need to figure out what to do with that. And I was like, how about this? Primetime game at night, put that sucker in Bud Plaza, and it will be
Yeah.
like attracting, moss to a flame.
Mhm.
That will be awesome if they would. I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
And
I don't
then
know
with
what it's
technology
made
these
of,
days,
whatever.
you get the photo of that and
Yes.
superimpose it in front of the Houston skyline. Superimpose it
Mhm.
in between the
Wherever
dome
you
and
want it.
the yeah, you can do so many things with that. But yeah, I think it would
Yep.
look awesome in
That
both.
look cool.
All right, let's talk football.
Let's do
Texans
it.
picking 42nd overall. I think they are. I think they can move back a little bit, move up, but they're in a sweet spot. They got 9 picks total. I wrote a
Mhm.
little ditty this week. They have 7 picks next year, one in every round except for the 6th, and they've got 2
Mhm.
fifths. So
Mhm.
16 picks to deal with, plus the 7 and 26 that have not been touched yet. So 16 picks to deal with this year and next. That's a lot of ammo for Nick Caserio. He averages through 3 years so far 6 trades just during draft weekend alone. I kind of think he's going to be just under that. I think I could see like 4 or 5 trades. I don't think he's going to be as wild. I've been wrong before. So we got to do a mock draft simulator. So what I'm going to do
Let's
is
do it.
hit the old share screen and we're going to pull up the mock draft simulator. So let's get it going. You see Houston there. We're in the 7th round. We've got it going fast speed.
Okay.
Of course, doing the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. You enter the
Okay.
draft. We're going to make our team better, John.
Okay.
Houston Texans in their awesome uniforms. You see it clipping along. And
Boom.
here we go. Right off the bat, Tyler Nubin,
Ooh.
TJ Tampa, Adisa Ibick, Max Melton, some of the big names. Also, linebacker Edrin Cooper from Texas A&M. Those are some of the big names
Mhm.
available. But we've got 2 trade offers. Green Bay wants to swap 42 for 58 and give us a second next year. It's enticing, but you got to move back 16 spots, which would also mean
Yep.
you're picking back to back 58, 59 if you do that. But what's the other one? Okay, move back 10, get a second for next year from the Rams, who are going to be without Donald, but looks like they got some help last year on that rookie class. But you also got to give up 127. Do you want to move?
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to move.
You want to move
I
back?
don't know. I like the Packers pick, but being at 58, 59, what I might
It's
do
out.
is get down to 58, take their second, and then move 59 a little bit and see what I could do there. Um, what do you think? I don't think either one of them blows me away, trade offer wise.
Yeah, I know. And then looking at the board in a few of these mock draft roundups, you've had TJ Tampa as the
I have, yeah.
pick at 42. I know you like Max Melton. I
Hmm.
know you, I'm
I
pretty sure
do.
you like Nubin, but What do you think? I'm
Yeah.
going to defer to you on this one, man. I think there's lots of options here. And
I mean,
edge receiver.
Newman is my best available, I think, of that group. Like
Mhm,
Newman is the highest rated of that group that I see up there.
mhm.
There are a lot of names I like, but I think because there are a lot of names I like, there's going to be someone at 59 that I'm going to end up liking as well, and that we're going to like. Newman, there's been I had a my conversation with Landry last week. I don't know, whatever the 17th was last week, I think, and we talked about safety. And with safety, I think there are experienced players there. Every safety, top 4 safeties that are there have going into at least their third year. I mean, Jalen Petre's going into his third year. It's just a matter of whether guys stay healthy. But it also you have to throw in Desmond King. And I throw in Desmond King because Desmond's the nickel. And Desmond's been healthy. And Desmond, I think, plays the nickel pretty well. But sometimes you can turn your nickel into maybe a 3 safety look.
Mm.
You could drop Jalen Petre down. He plays pretty well when he's down by the line of scrimmage. You could let Jimmy Ward and Newman play deep. You can be prepared for injuries because all 4 safeties had injuries. My point is, I'm talking myself into Newman as safety because he's the best available.
Mm-hmm.
At maybe not a position of complete need, but I just think he's the best available, and getting him at 42, I think it would be a great situation. So let's do it. Do
Tyler
Newman.
Newman, you're a Houston Texan. So now we're clipping along to 59. You got names like Ruka Rororo, Cameron Kinchins is safety. We've already taken one. Oh, hey, we've got Braden Fisk. We've got Peyton Wilson, a linebacker from NC State, Chris Jenkins. But
let's look at the trades.
The Cardinals want 59 and 189 for 66 and a third next year. So you're going to move back 7. There's still a lot of good players that looks like you could still get there.
Yep.
7 spots later.
True.
Want to move back 1 and pick up 163 from the Bills?
Because 163 is in the is that in the 6th or 5th?
It's around there.
I mean, it's around that spot because we go a long time because we have 123, 127, and we don't pick again to 188, 189. And so one spot to pick up 163. Let's do that. Let's do that trade right there with the Bills. I know it's one spot, but I like picking up that extra 5th or 6th, whatever that is. And we didn't lose much off the board. They took Jenkins, and that's fine because Fisk is still on the board. So to me, at pick 60, Fisk is the pick. I think I have him rated above Ororo. And then there's no other DT. Let's do Fisk right there at 60. I think that's a great spot. And we picked up an additional pick in the process.
All right. So now you've bolstered your interior D line a little bit. You got the back end with the safety. You're now picking at 86, but San Francisco's wanting 189 to move back to 94, but they'll give you 132, which would kind of move you up some. I like what I'm seeing there. What else we have? Oh, the Titans. Okay.
Oh boy. No.
Hey, yeah, we want 180 or we want 86, and we'll give you a 2nd next year and 2 this year. I don't know about that, man. I kind of like
the reason. Let's go back to the other trade. First of all, I'm not dealing with the Titans. They can, kick rocks. This one's intriguing, but here's what I'm looking at here. We have picks 123, 127, and 163, and then 188, 189. I feel like we've got enough picks there. And there are guys on the board. There's one in particular I'm looking at that I really, really like. And so I'm going to skew these trade offers if you're cool with that, because there's a guy that I like in this, and I'm looking right at him, number 3 on the board right there. I can't remember. I can't see the number. Andrew Phillips. Let's take that out. Let's reject those trades.
Okay. You want to take the
let's take Andrew Phillips right there, 86. That's a great spot for him.
In the past,
I really like him.
You've taken Renardo Green, who's down at 90. So you like Phillips a little bit more from Kentucky?
Yeah. I have Phillips rated a little bit higher than Renardo Green. Phillips, I don't think has been on the board at that point that I can think of, but I like Phillips. So let's do that. Let's move on to the 4th round. Day 3, baby. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
A lot of flotsam and jetsam offered from the Patriots. I don't want all that. Do you? It's 180 and 231.
Let's reject that.
You got a running back in Braylon Allen from Wisconsin available. Okay. The name that's kind of jumping out to me is the tight end. They're from TCU, Jared Wiley.
Jared Wiley.
Him. But you also got some other names, Mekhi Wingo, Jalen Wright, who we've picked, but we're picking again at 127 here in a moment.
Right.
I
should say correct. Correct is what I meant to say. Right, because I agree with you. I know exactly what you're thinking. I think we're not picking that far down. So I feel like we can get 2 of the top 7 here. Mm-hmm. Brandon got to look at. I know you and I have talked to him. It's funny. I went back and I just have been kind of conflicted on him the whole time. And I read something yesterday.
You missed out of that. You popped out.
Brandon Coleman, the guard from TCU.
Oh, okay.
And I know offensive line is not something people want to get sexy with, and it's it's not fun. But
if you got a good offensive lineman, take him. You can always
exactly right.
Put that to use. But I like Jared Wiley.
I like Wiley. I would take Wiley over Coleman. So let's do that. Let's take Wiley, see what happens over these next 3 picks, and maybe we can get Wright or Coleman. And both of them are still on the board. So now the question becomes, we talked about running back a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Home run hitter, Jalen Wright, big-time home run hitter. I have him rated a lot higher than Brandon Coleman, so that would be my call. And then I'll look a little bit later for guard.
I like that, what you're saying. And I also remember, Jarrett Patterson play admirably. I think start the first 6-7 games of the season at center. You had Juice Scruggs coming in at the end of the season. It was almost like a handoff, playing admirably, starting the end of the season at guard.
Correct.
You also have Kenyon Green, a first-round pick, started 15, 14 games 2 years ago as a rookie. He's coming back from injury. You've got lots of guys competing there. I know it's always good to up the competition level, but I kind of like the situation there. Whereas I'd like to up the competition level there in the running back. Let's go Jalen Wright, man.
I'm right. Well, before you do that, before you bang it,
Or
I just happened to see the name of Ray Davis. Now, I have Wright ahead of Ray Davis.
Okay.
But I can see why Ray Davis might fit us a little bit better. Just a shiftier runner, not as fast, but really, really good in the passing game. My comp for him was Frank Gore. Just when you see him, you'll understand. He's a heck of a story. So do we want, I'll leave this up to you, Drew, home run hitter, track speed, Jalen Wright, good size, or do you want Ray Davis, who can really do it all with a tremendous story overcoming adversity?
I like home runs.
Okay, let's go home runs. Jalen Wright, let's go.
Sammy Sosa versus Mark McGwire.
Let's do it. Jalen Wright, there we go.
Okay, so to recap, we're clipping along here. We've taken a safety, a defensive tackle, a corner, tight end, and a running back. We still have, John, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks remaining. 163 is next.
Yep.
And up on the board, first of all, is another tight end, and Theo Johnson. Sounds like a nice player. You got Tyler Davis, the defensive tackle from Clemson. Tyke Smith is a safety. Is it Kitano Ladapo?
Yeah, Kitano Ladapo.
I don't know. Ooh, and then, peeking down there at the bottom, we got Gabe Hall. I know that you're kind of a fan of. What do you think?
Yeah, if I were able to get him at 163, I'd feel really good. I like Gabe Hall a whole lot more than PFN does. I think Gabe Hall, 6'6", 290, long,
good
really
tester.
good athlete. I think in the run game, he's different. He made a lot of plays from the backside of plays because he's so quick and agile. I think Gabe Hall, because we got Fisk and Hall, and they're different. One's 6'3", 292. The other one's 6'6", 290. They're different. And so I think you could play them together at some point. If you played them together, you could play them in combination with the guys you already had. I would really like Gabe Hall. Now, I would tell you Keith Randolph, and Randolph is rated ahead of Gabe Hall here. Randolph is a little bit more kind of true defensive tackle, but I think Gabe Hall is a better prospect right now and in the future, just length, size, everything. I think Gabe Hall would be the pick if I'm going DT.
And kind of for this defense in particular too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing I want you to do, Drew, if you can. Oh, you did it. All right, good.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was wanting you to look at the Blake Watson went. I want you to click offense and click the wide receivers. We got to look at wide receivers and what's left on the board here, wide receiver. Because I do think that we've got to attack this position in some way, shape, or form. And that's the name right there.
229. I don't think he's going to last that long in the real thing.
There are a few, those top 1, 2, 3, 4, those top, I mean, all of them that you see there, Jackson John, all the way down to Lulu Griffin, down at the bottom. And in fact, the guy that I might want is the one that's below Lulu Griffin. Anthony Gould is Tank Dell reincarnate.
Really?
But the reason that I think that Anais Williams, he's not big, but man, I'm telling you, he caught a tunnel screen against, I think it was Fresno State. And I'm telling you, dude, he hit the boosters and goodbye. I'm like, Wow, he had a really good East-West game. I think he's being slept on here by PFM by a long shot. He's got exceptional electricity. But all these guys, any of these guys, Jaquan Jackson is a slot who was really good at the Senior Bowl. Cornelius Johnson's a big wide receiver, could play on the outside. He's Nico's teammate at Michigan. Jordan Whittington and Anais Smith. Now, Whittington is a little bit bigger, probably not as explosive as Anais, but he kind of gives you everything. He played running back, he played wide receiver. Flournoy was incredible at the Senior Bowl. He was really, really good. High cut, big butt, kind of skinny legs, and can run and make plays. If I'm letting my Texas heart, it's Whittington or Smith, also because they can give you some stuff out of the backfield as well. And I kind of like that. Even though I've added Jalen Wright, who I know get the ball in the backfield in different ways, Whittington or Smith, I'll flip the coin and let you go one of those two ways. Your thoughts about what you would do with receiver here.
Okay, we're going back to back, 188, 189.
Okay.
I want Smith, but let's look back at what we have.
Let's look back at what we have here.
Available. Randolph, MJ Devonshire, another corner. So we've taken a D-tack, we've taken a corner, we've taken a tight end. We haven't taken a linebacker yet. Do you like Tommy?
Not. I do like Tommy Eichenberg. Tough son of a buck. Really tough. I like him a little bit better than 178. So I'd be okay with that. In fact, we got the next two picks. I wouldn't mind banging Eichenberg and then Anais.
All right. So we got Eichenberg. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to take Anais Smith. I'm excited about this.
Yep,
okay.
Do it.
Now we're moving into the 7th round. So now when you're in the 7th round, okay, you're just kind of looking for somebody that can make the team, really. And how are they going to do that? So what do we got available in general with everyone? You got A.J. Barner, a Michigan tight end, Logan Lee, a defensive tackle from Iowa. Mark Perry is somebody as a safety. He's super fast. He's tested well, right? Do you like Drake
Tested
Newton?
very well. He's an athlete. And Mark Perry played at Rancho Cucamonga High School. So he is the teammate of one Coleridge Stroud.
Let's do
yes, he's his teammate. Yeah, Mark Perry or Dominique Hampton, I think, if I'm looking at safety at this point, because we've already taken Newman at the top. But I think Perry, really good athletic profile. You could even have gone there with Dominique Hampton, who the Packers took at 245 there. So last pick, here we go.
Okay, we've not taken an O lineman.
Okay, I got one for you. I got a few. Let's do this. Let's go to
Drake Nugent.
Okay, center. A little shorter, stout, strong, transfer from Stanford, did really well with Michigan.
Got Nathan.
But I don't know if that's the way I want to go. Now, that one right at the top right there, 241.
Yeah, you like him?
Nathan Thomas
out of Louisiana.
Nearly 34-inch arms. When I first saw him, I just went, damn. Like, he just looks different, but he's a guard, which I'm okay with. Okay. I'm okay with him being a guard.
All right.
If you go down, go back up on that list right there. What are you on?
On tackles?
No, go to guard. Go to guard.
Guard. You got Prince Pines is at the top from Tulane. Kyle.
Go to center for a second. I saw a name I was thinking of.
We got Nugent.
Right there.
Kingsley.
Nick Gargiulo, transfer from Yale. And played South Carolina, more than held his own. I mean, I was at 247, a guy with some center guard possibilities. You got with Dieter Eisland, who played at Yale. Gargiulo graduated. And we've seen this a lot with Ivy League players. They play their 4 years, they get their Ivy League degree. And the reason, and then they get their 4 years, but because of the whole COVID thing, once they graduate and they've got one more year to play, a lot of Ivy Leaguers are now transferring to different schools. So that with Jalix Hunt, he transferred to Houston Christian. He's going to go probably day 2 of this draft. Nick was the same thing. So he would be definitely a guy I would think about. CJ Hansen from Holy Cross is a center, kind of center guard. So he would be a decent option. All right, let's do it. Let's put an Ivy League in there. Now, it says center, but he could play guard. He played guard at South Carolina, so he can do both.
No offense to Holy Cross. I mean, I love Gordy Lockbaum in the 80s, but Gargiulo, he's, like you said, he played in the SEC a bit, and he's wicked smart. He was at Yale. So
yeah, he's wicked smart.
We'll go with Gargiulo, and that'll close out our draft. So look at what we took. We took, wow, John, we took 10 players. You see us taking 10 players in real life?
I don't, but I like the way we managed the board. We moved one pick. Here's what we did with pick 59. We got Fisk and Gabe Hall. That's a good way to live right there, I think. Doing things like that. And look, I don't know that 10 picks are really going to be kind of the way to go here, Drew. I just didn't like any of the trade offers we got, to be honest. But I feel like the little ones we took, and I think that's something that Nick has done. He's taken little moves, and then, he's like moved down 5 picks, but he's picked up someone in the 5th, and he uses that and moves up higher with that. So I like the way that Nick uses those picks to package them together to move up to get maybe a higher quality player. But to get Fisk and Gabe Hall with pick 59, just moving down one spot, I mean, that's money. I really, this draft is the best one we have done. This is the best by far. So hopefully it pans out this way.
I love it. I love doing these. I like doing them with you. It's fun to collaborate and chit chat about it. And we are here, man. You're going to be all over everything that these 3 days. So Thursday night, the draft begins. Texans don't have a pick. Probably not going to move up, but you're still going to be covering it with Mark and everybody. Then Friday night, you'll be on air the whole way through. Saturday
party,
more of the same. It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait. Texans are going to restock, or I guess not restock, but add to the stock and really up the talent. And I think this is another year to really make some big changes and additions to your team that can help down the line. I'm pumped, man. I'm really pumped.
Yeah, it's how I feel about the draft. I just have always loved it for some particular reason. I don't know if it's the surprise of hearing picks. I don't really where kind of the draft clicked for me, but I love it. I love it. And this team is at a point now where, we talked about needs and where they need things. And it's like, really, if they had to play a game today, I think they would be able to go out there with what's on the roster. So what is added on starting on Friday as of now, it could turn to Thursday. We'll see. But the way that Nick maneuvers, you never know. But I just know that the players they're going to pick are going to end up making an impact. They don't have to come right in and start. And I think that's important. They don't have to come in and start. But if they do, wow. I mean, that's huge. And they don't have to start week 1, but they might be week 9 starters, week 10 starters. They might be week 10 where they're making a significant impact. I mean, Khalil Davis was not a drafted pick, but I think about him a lot. He was inactive for the first week. Week 2, he started getting in there a little bit. Week 3, and all of a sudden, he just little by little. By the end of the year, he was a valued member of that offensive line rotation or defensive line rotation next to Kurt Heinrich. So you just never know where you're going to find that guy. And when I look at the defensive line, I see what we did in the draft, getting Gabe Hall and Braden Fisk for pick 59. We got both of them. But I'll take that all day. I'll take it all day, every day. So I'm looking forward to it. Presents even more hope, and I'm looking forward to it.
In lots of these mocks, I've been able to get Fisk and Tavondre Sweat.
Yeah.
Like you move and you maneuver and you get about 4 in the first 100 and you use that last one. It's typically around 94. I've been like, let's just double down on this.
Yeah. Sweat's been falling. That DWI is not helping him at all.
Is he though? Do we know that he's for sure falling?
Well, when I say falling,
I know what you mean.
When I say falling,
and I'm
saying that the people that do this,
I know
have anticipated him not being a day 2 pick or a late day 2 pick.
I still think he's there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Sweat.
He's too different. He's so much of an outlier,
Here's the thing with Sweat, and you know as well as I do. We've seen a lot of dudes come into this building, and we've seen a lot of dudes come in there with some demons. We've seen some guys come in there that were absolutely pristine prospects. Some of the guys with demons turned their stuff around. Some guys came in there that were absolutely pristine prospects, didn't have a mark on their name, ended up being total buttheads.
Never heard.
Yeah. You kind of never know. But if you believe in your locker room, you believe in what you've built, you believe in the veterans that are there, you believe in the core that you drafted last year, that they're going to be the ones to take over, that they'll keep somebody in line. I just worry about, and it's funny, Juice Scruggs is, I don't think, ever going to be an issue. But I saw Juice in the cafeteria, and I just asked him how his offseason was, and his eyes opened up, and he looked at me and went, "Oh my God, I have so much time." And that worries me with somebody that's had issues like Sweat before. You've got all the time, and now you've got the money. Whoa, what do you do? And so if you get him in the 4th round, I'd do it. I mean, 86, I would have to think long and hard. I just don't know ultimately if it's those issues. I feel like the Texans look at a player like that and think, hey, we'll be fine. We can surround him with every piece of support possible.
Right.
But I just don't know that that's the type of player that D'Amico wants. I don't know. So find out. We'll find out if he wears that H or not, man. It would be that H is going to get stretched a little bit with that 366 pounds, bro.
He'll still wear it well. I think I'm wearing it well. I think he would wear it well.
You're wearing it very, very well.
Hey, man, I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I'll be checking you out. And I know I will be texting you quite a bit and bugging you, but that's what I do. So,
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Always good to be with you, my friend. Hey, and we appreciate you checking us out here on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're listening to a podcast. The three of us, you, me, and John, we had fun. Thank you.